Yo,
Sup? How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Good, good. So, what's the deal, man? What's your
So,
role? What's your MMR? Let me turn you down real quick. 1 second. Sorry.
yeah,
Go ahead.
position one. Last year I was 2K, and now I'm 4K, and I'm stuck.
Okay.
Um, and that's about it. I know my biggest leaks are I'm probably too greedy. Probably hit neutral camps too much.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't really know.
The first step is being aware of your own mistakes. So, I'm gonna go ahead and share screen with you. You'll see my Dota. So that's
Cool.
you were asking about that. So let me know if you see it.
Yep, I do.
Cool, cool. So let's go ahead and load up this replay, and we can go from there. Dude, Dota's acting so slow today. What the? Maybe it's like when I stream it, it's like puts a lot of stress on my computer because I'm streaming and streaming it. I don't know. Okay. Your Jug, I guess. Or
Yep.
okay. So you lost here, and you were 20-7. This looks like a
Yeah.
standard game where it's probably your fault. So I'm looking forward to
Yep.
watching it out here. Tell your support to just pull forehead. Okay. Any other question? Like you mentioned, like you think you're a little too greedy, hit neutrals, all that kind of stuff. Any like preemptive like questions?
I think there's just like some mechanical shit that I haven't come up to speed on in 4K, where I'm probably just like in team fights doing the wrong thing, but I
That's
don't think
like
you
on
can
my
really
list
help
of
me with
things
that.
that I prioritize. That's like number 46, I believe. So
Yeah,
we'll
that's
leave
not
it.
something you can help me with. Yeah, just be better.
Okay. 4 branch build. Okay. I haven't tried it on Jug, but I could see why it would be useful on Jug. See how it plays out. Nice Arcana. It's a good start. No.
Drinking and buying skins, man.
There you go. There you go. Okay, so we're against most likely a Legion Commander Lion lane. Do we trade well with those?
I think that we have kill potential because of Skywrath, but I'd say not with Legion though. I don't trade well with Legion.
Okay. Gotcha. That is true. So something I see right away is whenever I see this happening and it's against a hero with higher base damage than me, I'll always hit this creep a couple times and then drag it away from that hero when it's about half health. Because notice how the Legion's pretty far away right now. If you hit it like twice and then drag it away, she won't be able to get to it by the time it's dead.
Right, it'll be safe. Yeah.
Yes, so that's something you should consider when this happens. I do it almost every time that they block one creep in front. The lane's going to push anyways, and what happens here will naturally happen if you do that, so it's kind of like just a nice way to secure your first CS before you get quelling.
That's one thing I know that I do too much maybe. I watched all your like creep equilibrium videos, and I might over optimize around trying to keep creep equilibrium.
So you said you watch my videos. How much do I say creep equilibrium matters in dual lanes?
A lot.
It matters like 10th on the priority list. It's like 10th.
Really?
Definitely. Like the
only time,
yeah, the only time that creep equilibrium matters in dual lanes is when the lane's far enough out that you literally can't farm it, and then in that case you need to pull. But like what I mean by 10th on the priority list is not that creep equilibrium isn't important, but trading harass and securing CS matters way more. Like way more. You should like put those things above it, like using creep aggro properly, securing CS properly, trading with them properly, buying items. All this shit matters like way more than creep aggro, or sorry, than lane equilibrium. That's why it's not 10th, it's like 5th. But like the point is, don't sacrifice any of this other stuff for creep equilibrium in a dual lane. It just doesn't. It's not like it doesn't matter if the lane equilibrium is near your tower if the Legion has 4 extra denies. It just doesn't. So, okay. So I don't really like trading with Legion. So the times right. Okay, so right there when you were trading with her, how do I even explain this?
I thought I was giving myself space to get the creep if I made him go back, basically.
So what I do here, that I think is just the same thing, more effective, is I creep aggro towards myself, which and then if the Legion chooses to go at the creeps, like meaning she chases the creeps to try to deny, then I hit her. Like, does that? You see what I'm?
Yeah,
you see the difference there?
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
So
yeah.
I appreciate you giving me your perspective. So like I think you're right that you should be defending your own creeps, but make it so she has to go farther forward, and then you get like an extra couple of pot shots in, and then if she trades back, she's also tanking creeps, that kind of stuff. So like right here, for instance, like you went out of your way to hit her, like right. Oh, wait, no, you didn't. Sorry, that wasn't what I was thinking of. I rewound too much. Oh, it was right there that you went out of your way to hit her when you were protecting. You could pull, like, when I'm thinking to myself, if I don't trade well, make her come to me, and then if she comes to me, I'll fight back. Like, that's how I think about it.
Okay.
So, like, right here, I think you could have used creep aggro, like, 5 times already this lane, and you just haven't used it at all, as far as I've seen. And do you know why I originally asked you if you trade well?
Because I should be creep aggroing.
Yeah, that like whether or not you trade well decides whether or not you creep aggro. Okay. Why boots? What do boots do for you?
Yeah, this is already compounding, I guess. My goal is to kill this Legion in my mind for some reason, and I think boots helps me hit him more and trade better. But
so generally in this patch, okay, as a carry hero, what's my goal in the laning stage?
Secure farm.
Okay, so if you think about it that way, when do I care about getting kills?
When I can't secure farm, I
yeah,
guess.
When you literally can't farm because he's alive. And that's when you care about killing them, okay? So, are you farming if this Legion's alive?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Then you just don't give a fucking shit about kills, okay? If you are farming while he's alive, how do you win the lane?
Just by out farming him?
Yeah, just by out farming him, and then you have level 6 when he's level 5, and you Omni Slash him, and the lane's over. Like, that's how you win, right?
Right.
Think about it that way. So, like, it's all in goal, like, especially since they didn't really change anything. Like, yeah, they made denies slightly worse this patch by changing him from extra XP to gold, but, like, at the same time, like, denies still cripple you, right? Like, you if you deny every creep, he's getting a fourth as much XP as you. So, like, at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is getting last hits and denies, and in the meantime, getting trades. And so I mentioned creep aggro because that's not maximizing your trading. And then I mentioned your items because you're going for kills rather than maximizing CS and trading. So the only time you go boots is when?
Is when I can't secure farm and I need them to...
Yeah, you need them to secure farm. No, like, meaning... whether that's killing them or why would boots help me in terms of securing farm over something like a Wraithband? Like, just give me a reason why boots might help.
Not obvious to me. Not
okay,
sure.
Yeah, so what if there's a lane where you have to creep aggro and you're playing against really good players, okay? And they have heroes that, if they have boots and you don't, can, like, stun you. And then,
gotcha.
And then while you're creep aggroing, they stun you. So a perfect example of that was... this Monkey King game I played, I went boots first against Tiny Magnus, because if I try to, and my support was pretty bad. So I was like against Tiny Mag, and if I try to creep aggro and the Tiny walks at me with boots, he's going to like get the avalanche toss off. But if I have boots, he's not going to get the avalanche.
Yeah, he can't get that off.
Yeah,
gotcha.
So that's an example of when boots would...
Just to restate that, so the boots, you would buy it because it makes you safer, and then you can secure more farm.
Yes, exactly. So, like, if I feel... My answer is, like, my rule is to get Wraithbands. My exception is to get, like, if I need stick to sustain, or if I need boots to be more survivable. See, like, boots don't do anything for you here. Is like, you're just taking more damage, is, like, how...
Yeah,
like,
my plan is to get a kill at 3, which might sound really stupid, but...
it is stupid, so... But I'm just telling you, like, rather than, you know, telling you that's stupid, I want to tell you why you buy boots.
Right.
Not to get kills. You don't buy boots to get kills. You buy boots to not die. Survive, yeah. Your goal is, unless you have to kill them, you just want to be ahead of them like 5 minutes into the game. Like, 5 minutes is super impactful. Why?
Runes.
Okay, what else?
You're saying minute 5 or level 5?
Minute 5.
I'm not sure.
So, what does the lane usually look like if you're winning? Meaning, lane equilibrium wise, if you're winning, as the lane goes on, what starts to happen? 7 minutes into the game, when somebody's winning, where's the lane equilibrium at?
It's right where you want it to be, right? So it's like in that creep.
Where do I want it to be if I'm ahead by 2 levels at 7 minutes in the game?
Oh, at the tower.
Okay, so why does it matter at 5 minutes who's ahead? Catapults. Okay, cool. Good talk.
Right,
Yeah, so if you're significantly ahead at 5 minutes, then you're taking half their tower, maybe the full tower. Either way, like the bounty rune fight, the catapults. So much pressure, if you watch like Pro Dota and shit, is predicated around catapults. So like if you're not in the lane, the reason why I'm saying like your entire itemizing and decision making going into the up until 5 minutes should be to get there as best as possible. So we don't give a shit about
around the pult. Right?
Yes, exactly. So that's what we're going for. So like, but if you're on this horny train to get some kills, like that's gonna like really fuck you up. I had somebody that I'd say a few months ago, Aiden if he's here. I've coached him a couple times. First time I coached him, he like just had a hard on for trying to get kills with CK, and he made some really stupid mistakes. Like the way that Dota works at the highest level is you're doing all the things I'm telling you to think about correctly, and then you just notice the other guy steps out of position, or you just trade better because you have better items and all that kind of shit, and he just kind of conveniently dies. Kills aren't something that like you try to make happen. Kills are something where like you know your timing, so you know like when you're jug 6 and like, and then at that point you know if this guy steps, this guy steps past this specific line, he's gonna die. Like, and then he steps past that line and he dies. Like that's how I think about it. So like I don't mind having boots in this lane after 2 Wraith Bands, you know what I mean? Because I'm just hitting creeps. Main thing is Legion and Jug. It's a pretty close lane because even though you have higher armor and lower base attack time, she has higher damage and her passive. So you actually need it. Go ahead.
I end up dumpstering this kid, but I do hear you.
Well, I'm saying like it's not a terrible lane for Jug, and you're in the safe lane, which this patch generally is an advantage. But like, my point is like it's just less of an advantage. Because, like, the reason why you're ahead in levels right now is because your support pulled a couple times. And that's generally, like, what should be happening. So, like, right now, I'm just fast-forwarding to watch this. Because, honestly, you're losing all these trades because of your items. Like, I would have flown myself more tangos. I would have had double Wraith Band and a stick. Probably wouldn't go full wand this game. Because I don't think I would need it for the lane. I'd probably hold on to the stick for a while just because they have an anti-mage, but the thing about Jug is generally with anti-mage, he's not fucking with you very often, so like if I'm what hero is a good example? If I'm a Slark, I'll almost always go stick or wand against anti-mage because like as an anti-mage player, oftentimes I'm willing to try to gank the Slark once or twice or like be like a +1 because of a gank, but like as an anti-mage against Jug, I'm generally not hitting Jug for like the first 20 minutes of the game. So I just that's why I don't like upgrade a wand in that case. But it's just like notice like how this situation, if avoidable, should never really happen, and that's like it's the result of your items. So the thing about Jug is I just love playing him where my dream as a Jug is that if I stand on top of the creep wave, the other guy's stuck trying to creep aggro and he just can't fuck with me. Like, that's how I think about it. Like, make him come to me rather than build myself to chase after him. That's, like, how I like to think about it. Because the minute I hit 6, no hero in the game can, like, out-trade me. Because if we both get down to half, they're just fucked, right? Because, like, they can't afford to be half health when I'm level 6. So, that's how I like to conceptually approach Jug. I now have very little health. Without spin, I'm very vulnerable to death. What should I do here?
I should probably go pull the wave.
Okay.
Sure.
And?
Get regen.
Yeah, okay, cool. What do you do instead? You sit in the creep wave. Yep. Did you die? No. Is any of this good for you?
No.
Okay. If you had pulled, what would the lane look like right now?
The creeps would be at my tower.
Okay, and you would have gotten a small camp with the farm?
I might be losing creeps to the tower, though, and it's a double range creep.
You're not... Are you getting any of these creeps?
That's true. No.
Are you? Yeah. Okay. So you would have farmed a small camp, and this creep would have been under your tower. So, are you a hero that's going to get dove when Legion's level 5?
No.
Okay.
Radiant are scanning. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Fuck me.
All of this is a result of like you're definitely like I can just tell on your gameplay you're just like way too eager to get kills overall. Like you use your mango and you just fucking march in there to get kills. The thing about single pulling, not only does it okay. So at this stage in the game, if the lane's like static, who does that benefit? You or Legion? Why?
Sorry, come again?
If the lane just like statics in terms of lane equilibrium, it just sits in the same place, who does that favor and why do you think that is?
I think now that I'm level 6.
No, before level 6, sorry. I should have said this question like a minute and a half ago.
Probably him.
Why?
Because he has higher base damage. I guess I'm kind of guessing. I don't really know.
Was his support there?
No.
Wasn't Lion here like the entire fucking time?
Oh, sorry. I keep thinking about right now. Yeah, his support was there early.
Okay. So, when you're alone in the safe lane, so you're now alone, would you rather the lane be static or, like, being pulled back and forth over and over again? Why?
Now that he's alone...
sorry, when you were alone, would you rather it be static or would you rather it be pulling back and forth? Why? If I'm ever going to gank you, would I rather see you sitting in one place, or would I rather try to guess if you're at the pull camp or underneath your own tower?
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess more dynamic.
Okay, so I want the lane shoving back and forth as much as possible. Like, just watch Arteezy, actually. I literally learned all this shit from him. Like, his laning efficiency is insane. Like, just watch his... Like, if you want to know where the lane should be at all times, watch his replays, okay? Like, I'm just a, like... study, you know, a fucking, like, doing my best to do everything he does, because I don't just blindly follow it, right? Like, I make sure I understand what he's accomplishing and what he's doing with it. But he's, like, by far, in my opinion, the best, like, this shit that I'm talking about. Like, there's other carries that do things better than he does or whatever, but, like, this part of the game where it comes to, like, do I want the lane pushing or pulling, or, like, when do I single pull? Like, I learned when to single pull as a carry, literally watching him. Other carries do it, too, but, like, I learned it from watching him. So, it's just like you don't want the lane to be sitting here. You want it to be underneath your own tower, and then like here, and then you know all over the place because you're harder to kill, and you're alone. So you don't like want the lane to be here. You know, if the lane's pulled,
that makes sense.
Yeah, like if you're alone and you're under tower and you're at the creep camp, it's just so easy to like not die. Okay. So, overall, you get a kill. Let's go ahead and fast forward. Same thing here. So, generally, if I'm alone, my way of playing carry is to not do that. But, okay, so, basically, this whole lane... How do I even word this? So I've done this in the past. This is like a situation where you're just not allowed to farm the big camp.
So I was like trying to push, like shove lane and then hit neutrals, and then I noticed it was double stack, so I thought I could just, this could just be greed, but I thought I could just go for it.
So my question is you have no ult and you're 1v2 and you think you're supposed to push the lane and farm neutrals?
Well, I thought this, I mean, I didn't know this at the time, but I thought I kind of wanted the lane to be dynamic, right?
Yeah, but you're 1v2, so if you're 1v2, who's at the advantage? You don't even have level 6, so what if it's just you and Legion? Who's at the advantage?
Legion.
Okay, so who pushes the lane?
Legion.
Okay, are you allowed to push the lane?
I mean, I did, but I probably shouldn't.
Isn't that just gonna fuck you? If you try to push the lane and they're ganking you? At any point in this time, if they had an extra hero here, like, what if Lich was here and then Kunkka TPs and Legion duels you? Aren't you just like...
I'm fucked.
You're fucked.
I guess.
So the point is...
in my mind, which was wrong, I was like creating myself space to go hit that camp, but that was probably wrong.
So why... Okay, so I'm asking you about who's stronger and what that means. So if you're at this current, this isn't something that's like always the case, right? Meaning like if you have level 7, you have full health, full mana, and you have your ult, you're stronger. It's not like this concept is static. This is something that changes throughout the course of the lane. So at this current moment, whatever hero's stronger, you basically concede the lane to them, meaning like you let them do whatever they want with it. So if you watch, this applies to the mid lane as well for any mid laners watching. If I'm the mid laner and I'm behind, what do I generally do if I can't even walk up in lane?
Sorry, come again?
If I'm behind in mid lane, like I'm losing, and I can't contest the guy, what do?
You go jungle.
Okay, until...
You can contest the lane.
Until... He shoves it into my fucking tower. Why do I go back then? Because it's safer. Underneath my own tower. So, what should I fucking do here?
Get the creep wave under my tower.
Or I can just jungle until it's underneath my tower. What if he statics the lane, like he doesn't move it?
I need to pull.
How about I just keep jungling? I'm a jug with spin and, like, treads coming out.
Okay.
You know, so the difference is you say as BSJ, when do I pull as opposed to just hitting neutrals? If you're a hero that's like fucking anti-mage, am I gonna go hit neutrals?
No.
I right-click for 70 and have no sustain and no way to flash farm neutrals. So no, I'm not gonna go hit neutrals. I'm gonna pull the camp back underneath my own tower, right? But as a jug, I'm perfectly content spinning down some camps and letting the Legion static the wave. You know what you see what I'm saying here?
Yeah.
But the last thing I think I should be doing is pushing the lane and then leaving. The option is you can push the lane and leave when you know you're perfectly safe. So, like, Legion alone doesn't threaten you, right? So if you see, like, 3 heroes bottom for a short moment, nice slurp there. If I see 3 heroes bottom for a moment, then maybe, sure, walk out, spin the wave, and leave. You know what I mean? But, like, in this current moment, it's just not good. And then you go for the even greedier play. Like, for me, I would be farming this, and then returning if it's underneath my tower. That's how I would be playing it, right?
Yeah,
I'm reloading this fucking replay because it's bugged on you spinning, and I can't take it anymore. Okay, I'm sure there's somebody in chat or more that are just like, spin, 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 spin. Okay, so, watching the... That's just like a self-awareness of, like, where you are in the lane in terms of what the status of the lane is, so... Generally, when you're ahead or behind, like, you just handle it in a certain way. So you acting like you're ahead in a lane where you're not advantaged at the current moment is what got you killed by this lion.
Right.
Yeah, it was 10 minutes in. I couldn't remember, and now I remember.
Oh, the quality is, like, really shit right now on Discord.
Is it because I'm fast forwarding? Is it better now or no?
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay. Yeah, I was fast forwarding like really fast. Okay, wait, so I'm gonna get to where you died. Okay, so you die here. So this is like a learning experience, and what you need to learn from this experience is that there's when you're like at the disadvantage, or even when you're at the advantage, there's just a certain line which means like your advantage or disadvantage means you're allowed. If you're at the disadvantage, that means you're not allowed to cross that line. Like there is a certain line. And if you're at the advantage, the opponent's not allowed to cross that line. So, like, every game, like, that awareness factor of getting better at the game is where that line is, okay? Like, that's the hard part. The first step is knowing whether or not you're at the advantage. The second part is knowing exactly what that line is, where that line is drawn based on that advantage. So if this is you thinking you're safe enough to farm that camp, it's me telling you from personal experience you're not allowed to farm that camp, and you should learn. Like, this is an example of learning, like, if they have kill threat on me, unless the lane's at their fucking tower, I'm not allowed to farm this. A lot of safety in terms of farming at all stages of the game is determined based on where the lane is. So what I mean by that is, like, this is a simple version at 10 minutes in the game. It applies at 30 minutes as well in terms of jungle camps. Like, if this lane's at their tower, you're allowed to farm this camp even if you're at the disadvantage. If the lane's here, you're not allowed to farm that jungle camp when you're at the disadvantage, okay? So, not only do you have to understand where that line is, but you have to understand how creep equilibrium affects that line. Like, 25 minutes in the game, if you are farming here, or say you're Radiant and you're farming here, and the lane's right here, this camp's not safe. Because the lane's right here. But if it's here, this is safe. Do you see why that would be?
Yeah, because they can just walk over.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So, like, that's the point, right? Is the way I look at it is if the lane's right here, this is more dangerous than this. You know what I mean? But if the lane's right here, the lane itself is more dangerous than this. So, like, if you are farming this while the lane's right here, first off, it's just incorrect. But secondly,
yeah, farm of the lane, right?
yeah.
Why'd you ever do that?
And then also, if like I've heard some people say, well, I thought the lane was too dangerous. Well, if this is too fucking dangerous, then so is this. You know what I mean? So like that's just a perfect like example of like a way to guide yourself. These are decisions that apply at 8 minutes in, and they're also decisions that apply, 25 minutes into the game. So fast forwarding. So you TP back to the lane. I don't particularly mind that because you're against. Actually, I do mind this. What am I talking about? So, if you go bottom, what does the opponent do to you?
They probably take my tier 1, or if they value their T1 more, they'll TP down bottom. But probably.
And
take
do
my
you
T1.
mind fighting the Legion if she's at her own tier 1 bottom? If you have Skywrath Mage, Zeus, and Wind Ranger
No,
with you?
hell no. I put alone this entire game. Team would be nice.
Who's the pace setting carry? You or Anti-Mage?
Me.
So, quiz question. If you're the pace setter, does it benefit you to trade tier 1s, or does it benefit you to have neither tier 1 die?
Definitely trade.
Okay. So, why should you go bottom?
Because we'll get the tower.
And even if they take your safe lane, are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's kind of like a free roll.
So if I'm the anti-mage, when do I try to take your top tower?
Probably when I TP bottom and I show
Okay,
them out.
yeah, when you try to take my tower. Because you're the pace setter. I'm not going to show up in your lane as anti-mage. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just giving you like perspective from both sides. But you're the pace setter, so you need to show up in his lane and take his tower.
Mm-hmm.
Radiant's
So this is like the same thing I just watched in the other session with the Jug, who just stays in his own safe lane, and instead of accomplishing shit, So the dynamic of this is, if you're bottom, you threaten anti-mage. If you're top, Legion threatens you at all times. Like that's like the dynamic. Like couldn't this just be happening bottom so you get a tower out of it?
Totally.
Wouldn't this, you know what I'm saying?
On the mic, I'm like yelling to come top too, which is probably wrong.
So my analysis of that is you are correct that you should be participating in fights and fighting them. What are you not correct about?
Where I am fighting.
Where that fight should be occurring, exactly. Yeah. So that's the 2 steps of being a carry, is knowing whether or not you should fight and whether or not that fight, or where that fight should be taking place. And generally that happens virtue of if you're the guy that's supposed to be taking objectives, or you're the guy that's just... so if you're an anti-mage or PA, a hero that's more about not really applying much pressure in the early game. If you had to guess, where would most fights that you take place?
Wait, if you're like
an anti-mage PA type heroes, like these like non-pressuring,
probably at your T1,
like at your own tier 1s.
Yeah,
it's at your own towers. Yeah. Why?
Because the lane's pushed in because they're stronger and they want to kill you.
Well, you're responding to what they're doing rather than what you're doing, right? Like, you're not the one making something happen. You're responding to the... Yes. So, but if you're the Jug or a Terrorblade, where are most fights you take going to occur?
Wherever you want them to.
Yeah, wherever you want an objective to take, because the opponent's going to be stuck responding to you, right? So... that's like an important aspect of Dota. Like, first step is knowing whether or not I want to fight. Second step is where it is. So, in this case, you knew you wanted to fight, but you're a Jug. You're supposed look at the carry matchup. You should be the one forcing objectives. Yeah, you guys got the tier 1, but what if you guys took this fight down here and then took mid tier 1 or pressured tier 2? You know what I mean? Like anti-mage in your lane. If you show up bottom, the 2 options are they 3-man top and take it while you're a Jug who takes it much faster. Or the Legion TP's bottom, and you fight them there, and Anti-Mage is, like, doing the exact same thing he's doing, but not accomplishing anything. Meaning, right now, he's not accomplishing anything, right? But you're not accomplishing anything. So
the way I see it from what you're saying is, if I TP bottom, I'm free rolling, because I'm going to get a fight. Worst case scenario, I get a fight. Best case scenario, I get a trade.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And it's not even like worst case scenario that you fight. The answer is
Yeah,
both
you wanna
ways
fight,
you
yeah.
trade. One way has a high potential upside. The other way has no potential upside other than like winning the kill, like getting the kills. You want all kills to result in something. So if you're a hero like Anti-Mage, what are kills generally for?
Wait, if you're an anti-mage, you want to get kills that enable you to push, right?
You're an Anti-Mage at this stage in the game. Why are you killing people? If you are killing people.
Well, I don't think you should be killing people. But
If you're an
killing people if
Anti-Mage
they're
participating
diving
in
you or
fights and
something.
you are trying to kill them for whatever reason, what is it usually accomplishing for yourself?
Space.
Space, yeah. It's that simple. You're getting kills so that you can farm. On Jug in this game, why should you be getting kills?
Because I want to push towers and end the game as fast
Okay.
as possible.
So if I'm a Jug, I should be forcing towers whenever I can.
Right.
And if a fight happens around that, I'm okay with that. If I'm an Anti-Mage, I should be farming, and if I'm unable to farm, I should take fights where I want to be farming. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that
Okay,
makes sense.
yeah, so that's like a good way to think about that. Okay, so you see Legion top.
Radiant's middle
Okay.
tower is under attack.
You should, yeah, you're playing a little too scared of this Anti-Mage when Legion's top. Okay.
With
So,
Top tower is
based on what I said in the laning stage, who's stronger, like, before you think about the laning stage, who's stronger in terms of right now, you or Anti-Mage?
me for sure.
What about it is similar to the Legion Commander interaction with you at 8 minutes? Why was she stronger than you?
I trade so much better right now.
But Legion Commander didn't necessarily trade with you better at 8 minutes into the game. What did she do, though?
She's like just had more base damage. I don't know.
I mean, if heroes show up and she has duel, don't you die?
Oh yeah, sure.
So, if you're 1v1ing the Anti-Mage, why does he actually have to not trade with you?
Because if I catch him after a blink and Omnium, he's dead.
The point is, if your teammates show up, he dies, his teammates aren't coming.
Okay.
You see this. Like, in one case, in the laning stage, you threaten to kill, or she threatens you with kills, so you can't trade with her. Like, the whole purpose of what I said about Jug when you had your ultimate is if you both trade down to half, she has to be the one that gets fucked, right? Because
Right.
you kill her. So, in that case, what is her choice? She's not allowed to trade with you, right?
Right. She has to
So
go
it's the
somewhere
same thing with Anti-Mage to you right now. So if you're
else.
ahead,
That's why I'm down here, right? I mean, I think
Okay.
that must have been my thought process.
so if you're
Probably still farming
ahead,
down here.
where should this lane be? Down here.
Down here, I should be pushing it into the tower.
Okay.
Radiant's
So-
middle tower is
But I
under
don't.
attack.
Yeah.
Is Anti-Mage allowed to push this lane? Right? No.
Right.
This
no.
isn't allowed to happen. This is called not applying pressure. Like, this is exact opposite of applying pressure. When I've been in games, sometimes I'll mention like, wow, thank God the enemy guy is not doing this or whatever. Like, and this is an example of that. Like, the opponent, like rank 600s and shit do this, right? They do it a lot. Like, they just don't apply pressure when they should. And so I always think like the winning team, the guy who's at the advantage on this part of the map will have the lane pushed. And if I'm the guy with that advantage, I better fucking push that lane. It's like a huge deal for him as an Anti-Mage who's weaker than you to be able to relieve pressure on his own dead lane, right? Like, that's a huge fucking deal that he's able to
Right.
relieve pressure when he is weaker than you. That's like you know, the enemy team has superior team fight and they just never try to team fight you. That's like the equivalent of that,
Right,
right?
right.
Like, that makes no sense. So like
Yeah,
you have
when
superior
you
lane
have
shove.
tempo, you need to play that.
Yeah. Exactly. So this lane should be pushed in at all times. I like to think, like, based on hero matchups, where should these lanes be? Like, that's how I like to think about it. And that's good.
Well, I think that they should be pushing tier 1. I should probably be pushing tier 2 bottom.
Well,
should be.
Okay, so when I say this, I mean each individual lane, okay? So, like, right now, this game, like, I should be pressuring bottom over the Anti-Mage. What's the only thing that should really stop me from pressuring bottom?
If I see a rotation or
From, like, Legion Commander, I think, is the only
yeah,
way you're really
exactly.
dying, right? So...
well, maybe Lion if I get
Like,
really unlucky.
but then there's a certain line that you have to draw where Lion kills me if I cross this. Legion Commander
if he
kills
catches me in a stun and I miss the spin for some reason, then
Well, my point is, like, you can't just sit on top of a creep wave then. You can, like, spin it in and shove it into his tower. Are you allowed, are you content with Anti-Mage farming under his own tier 2 if none of your team is bottom?
probably. I think that's kind of risky with no vision.
I'm saying you're allowed to have. If you have no teammates, are you content with the anti-mage farming underneath his own tier 2 bottom?
Oh no, no.
If none of your teammates are bottom, you're not okay with him farming under his own tier 2?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. That makes
You
sense.
are, right?
Sorry, misunderstood.
So yeah. No, you're good. So like, my point is like, based on what your teammates are doing, like the perfect way to assess these scenarios is like, I know the lane should be shoved in. So how far I'm allowed to go is based on who on their team is missing and who on my team is where, right?
Yeah, gotcha.
So
I
like,
misunderstood. I
yeah,
thought
no,
you
you're
meant,
good.
Like where the lane is now versus Red Eyes.
Yeah, like if he's underneath his own tier 2 and you have Wind Ranger bottom with you and a Skywrath with you, are you allowing him to farm under his own tier 2?
No.
No, right? And if it's a game where they have absolutely no fucking kill threat on you, is he allowed to farm under his tier 2?
Sorry, say that again.
If they have literally no kill threat on you on the entire enemy team, is he allowed to farm under his own tier 2?
No.
No, because the only reason you're not going under his tier 2 is if the lion TP'd into Shrine or like TP'd into your tower and hexes you, you're just dead, right? So like,
Right.
that's why the lion is drawn a specific place every game, right? So like, that's what I mean is, overall though, if you establish where this lane's allowed to be, that also establishes what creeps are safe for you, right? Because if the
Right.
lane's here, these camps are safe. If the lane's here, these camps aren't so safe, right? So by having the lane be here compared to here, if you're looking at your farm compared to anti-mages, he's getting these 2 camps and you're just getting lane.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
But if, yeah, so you see what I'm saying, right? So like, that's why the lane shoving is so important, like in terms of when you should be able to, you have to do it. Like you actually have to take care of the lane. And like, if you're the hero at the disadvantage, it's a little more difficult because that's actually one of my weaknesses. I think I'm really good at setting the pace as like a Terrorblade or a Jug or something. Like if I'm supposed to have the lane in, I'm really good at having the lane in. But like the reason why I suffer a little bit on these like anti-mage PA type heroes is my job is to actually respond to them pressuring in a certain way rather than creating the pressure myself, right? And I'm not nearly
Right.
as a personal, like at my play, like one thing I need to work on right now is I'm not quick enough to respond to what they're doing. So like my point is I played against PA earlier as anti-mage. Who should have the lane pushed in, PA versus anti-mage 15 minutes into the game?
PA.
Okay, so if PA leaves to go somewhere else, how quickly should I be bottom pushing that out?
Like really fast.
Really quickly. I should have like an insane sense of urgency. So like I'm not as fast as I should be on that kind of stuff. Like I know I need to get better at that. That's like a perfect example though. Like if I understand where the lane should be based on certain heroes in the game, it also tells me when I'm supposed to push it if I'm the weaker hero. Because if I know the lane should be pushed based on the fact that Jug's stronger than me, and then I see Jug top and I'm the anti-mage and I've been farming these neutrals the whole time, my instant reaction should be to blink towards bottom and push it out as
slamming the tower.
Yeah, exactly, right? So
That makes sense.
yeah, it's a good like
helpful.
I think it's easier to play the tempo setters myself, but like I think that's just like a play style thing, like cuz you're doing what you think is like you're doing what's good for you and what you're strong enough to do. While like as the other heroes, you're like trying to avoid their strengths. So like I personally think about it better the other way, but like I don't know if that's just a personal thing. So like here's another example. Like what are you afraid of? Go hit that tower. Right?
Yeah.
You came here and got some kills. Like I assure you, if you show up to your safe lane as the pace setter in this game and you get a kill and you don't get anything out of it, you probably shouldn't have gone to your own safe lane. Okay? So
Right.
my
I
way
bet
of
you I'd take this camp and run back, but yeah, I do hear you.
but can't you get the tower and then take the camp?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Not justifying my play. I just think
Yeah.
that's probably what happened.
Well, yeah, so basically what I'm trying to tell you though is you should not be on this side of the map when you are the strongest when you are the stronger carry unless you intend to get that tower.
Okay.
Like you should be getting that tower. If you were an anti-mage, you'd be fine showing up to a fight here, killing somebody and then leaving. That's fine. You see the difference here?
Yeah, totally.
Doesn't mean never take the tower as anti-mage, by the way. It just means
Right,
like
right.
the situations where you would
scenario.
take the tower on anti-mage would be far less than the situations you would take the tower on Jug. And like I said, if I'm Jug here, I'm never going to this fight if I don't intend to take this tower. That's like a good help you judge whether or not, because you have to think, because
going back and farming my side of the jungle after that fight is a waste of time.
you have to think about your impact on the anti-mage. Since you're so powerful compared to anti-mage right now, by TPing top, you are giving him so much. Okay?
Right.
So you better be getting more than what you're giving him. Okay? So if you're getting the same amount as you're giving him and you're stronger, that is not okay. That's like you by taking this camp, what is he doing right now?
He's getting basically free space.
He's also farming a camp.
Yeah, we're trading
Like,
one for one.
yeah,
We're trading one for one.
yeah.
And we really
You're
should be-
stronger.
I should be.
Yeah, that's the point, right? And the reason why, like, that's what I'm trying to say is, like, if you're the stronger hero, you have to realize how big of an impact it is on anti-mage that you leave this area. Like, it's actually so helpful for him that you do that. Okay, fast forwarding. See, he's taking your tier 1. This is called a map control loss here. Okay, so Legion's missing. You immediately return to bottom. Yeah, sense of urgency to push lanes is a huge deal for you. Where are you going?
Yeah, again.
Okay, so I don't know if you've heard
I
my
just feel like I
spiel.
don't have vision, and I feel like I'm scared. So where Brown is, if I was gonna draw a vertical line down, I feel like I don't know what's over there, and I'm scared.
Okay, so that's like a fine assessment. So, based on our understanding of Dota, what might you need in order to play bottom better?
Vision for sure.
Okay, so I assure you, you have not asked for it this entire game.
I don't know about that. I tilt pretty hard. I'm probably.
You're telling me in this game you've specifically told a support to ward this area?
I mean, I don't remember specifically, but I'm probably crying that we only. have
What
one
percentage of the
map.
game have you told what percentage of your games have you told a support to specifically ward a location?
War their jungle? I'd say probably 50% of games.
Okay. And if your supports aren't doing it and that's making you do this instead of pushing this lane, what do you need to do?
Probably buy a ward myself.
You actually just need to. Like, that's not something that's going to fly at my MMR. Why? Because the other guy's 7k MMR. But you're playing its 4k MMR
Do you see what I'm
carries.
saying though? Like,
I see what you're
like-
saying. I still
Yeah.
think you're safe to farm this camp right here.
goddamn, okay.
Like this one. Not this one, but this one. And so, the way I look at neutrals is like, I want to farm as close to the lane that I should be pushing as possible. I don't think you're safe enough to push bottom right now based on what you see. But I want to be farming as close to that lane as possible
Yeah.
that's safe to
For all
do
the
so.
reasons we said.
For all the reasons where the minute you see what they're doing, you want to be at that lane if they're doing something
damn.
else.
So I played it like a pussy. I don't
Yeah.
know. It just felt dangerous. But yeah.
You're absolutely right that like the line is thin, but I'm telling you, like, now since you're here and you see this, instead of pushing this, you're doing nothing.
Yeah, the second I see anti-mage, I should go down there.
Yeah,
So I guess the only two people that I'm scared of are
it's just Legion.
probably
I'd say
Legion,
Legion.
yeah.
Like, until Lion has a blink, you're just not afraid
Lion
of.
+1. Yeah.
So yeah, just nothing's being done right now, and the anti-mage is happy with that. Let's check out net worths. Just look at the lane equilibrium bottom and like how anti-mage is playing it. Like, if you had done what I told you to do properly, this lane right here, while you're taking the stack in the fight that you just took, would be here, instead of your Skywrath being forced to defend your tier 2, which took half its health and damage. That's the
Right,
difference
yeah.
here, okay?
Yeah, that's bad. Yeah.
So, like, if the lanes are shoved properly, a lot of your fights will feel a lot better, rather than feeling forced. Fights always feel forced when they have superior lane pressure to you. So the fact that bottom's getting farmed is okay, but
Yeah, it should be me.
yeah. I think at this point in the game, you've actually given up so much momentum, the game's really fucking hard. I actually think the game's kind of out of your control at this point. Like, the only way you
Really?
can...
Already?
What I'm saying is, at this point in the game, if you don't kill Anti-Mage, you lose this game.
Okay.
That's how I look at it. What I'm saying is, earlier on in the game, you could be dictating the pace of the game and forcing objectives. At this point in the game, I believe the only way you win is by killing Anti-Mage. And that's like a really shitty spot to be in as a Jug, because you don't actually...
Unless he really fucks up.
Yeah, unless he really fucks up, at this point you now have to coordinate with your team in order to kill
Yeah,
Anti-Mage.
I think we kill him twice, and we like Roche, and we just can't finish it though. It goes way too late.
Where's my... I hope it's in the last week. Is this in the last week? Oh, wait, I already saved it? Did I actually? Okay, so you might see some familiarities between this game and your game. So let's fast forward to 10 minutes into the game. I'm just... Fast forward. Come on, pauses really. Let's see, so I actually go drums against Anti-Mage almost every time.
Huh, okay. I gotta start thinking about that. I usually go Manta in S and Y, but for whatever reason, I thought I could outfarm him, which is probably a mistake too.
So look where I play from 14 minutes onward. I'd say they have decent kill threat on me, similar to your game. So I let DK push this, and then I'm responding to it immediately.
Oh yeah.
Notice how I let him push it.
Where you
yep.
want.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then keep going back. Like, notice how many times I'll respond to fights in the bottom half of the map.
Yeah, I just need to think to be in the lane more when I have the advantage.
Notice how
Just
Anti-Mage is
up.
farming underneath his own tower. I let the lane get pushed because it's 2 heroes. But then I push the lane immediately when I feel safe because I let DK push it in for all the reasons I've already mentioned. I push in all the other lanes to help my team. I walk back top. Like, I TP'd in mid just to take one... Like, obviously, he blinked into me and I killed him. But, like,
yeah, that's lucky,
but
yeah.
this is... When I say lucky, okay? Why is that lucky? Why does that happen, though?
There, because you did everything right. Up
I
to that moment.
did everything right, and then he just delivers himself to me. And that will happen, okay? Like, but notice, like, the way I'm playing this map, right? I'm never going bottom. Like, it's all, like, me based on, like, where I think I'm allowed to be in this lane. So the minute I see them leave the lane, I'm back pushing it again. And then they gank me, and then they die. This is where all the fights are happening. Because when is Anti-Mage ever going to be at this shit? Right? He's not. So, like, if you're forcing the enemy team to stop you from doing what you want to do, the Anti-Mage is a liability, if you think about it.
I'm being too reactive in a game where I have to be the one driving the pressure.
You see how everything they did was reacting to me doing something rather than me reacting to what they're doing. And so if I'm the Anti-Mage team, that's how the game's going to look. But in your game, it should not be what it looks like. So do you want to continue watching this one, or do you have another game that you want to...
Wait, just keep going because
Okay, cool.
I think we get really far ahead at some point and then we still lose.
Okay, cool. So we'll keep watching. What was it, 22 minutes into the game or something?
I think it's like 20 minutes. I got like a late Battle Fury and get a fast Manta, and I think we start trying to push like really aggressively, I think.
Okay. Yeah, this is where we were at. So the problem with this stage in the game is, since you haven't forced objectives the way you should, you can't actually take mid-tier 1. Like, you actually can't
so you think
take
this game's pretty much already over? I mean, it goes on for...
I'm gonna watch it to see what you do wrong, but, like, I'm saying you've lost your stranglehold on this game.
Yeah, right.
Is what I'm saying.
The edge is already over.
Okay, wait, so let's just see what happens. I'm fast-forwarding for the sake of, like, seeing if there's something glaringly bad to me. So you take that fight. What should you do right now? What are you doing?
Oh, I don't know, I'm fucking low as shit.
You're a jug with healing ward in 5 seconds and a Battle Fury.
Yeah, I should push mid.
Please? Try again?
I should push mid, probably? Or Roche?
Thank you. You should Roche.
I think we do Roche, actually. Or maybe
You should do it right now. They're dead on 3 heroes. Like, Lion just respawned. And you have a Battle Fury with healing ward, and you're hitting neutrals.
Oh, yeah.
When do you hit neutrals?
I'm like 100 from Manta, I think, is my fucking...
When do you hit neutrals?
Farmer. When I can't farm lane.
When there's nothing else for you to do on the map at all.
Yeah, yeah.
At all. So, do you need a Manta to fucking kill Roche when 3 heroes are dead?
No.
No. Might you need a Manta if their entire team was alive to kill Roche?
Yeah.
Sure. Maybe. Like, maybe when they're alive, you might need that Manta. But, like, you can't think, like, I need this item to do anything. Like, that actually blows my mind. That still happens at 6K, by the way. Where, like, the enemy team's dead or some shit. Or, like, 4 heroes TP'd bottom. And I'm telling my teammate to go into Roche, and he's like, I'm 200 away from my Hurricane Pike. And I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
You think I give a rat's fucking ass? They're all bottom. Like, you
Yeah,
don't need a Hurricane Pike or a full item to right click Roche. Like, you don't need that. So, that's like a perfect example of what this is. It's not, you don't want to look at it that simply. Like, what's, like, you need to think about when you're Jug, what should be on your mind at all times this game?
Fucking shove towers.
What's my next objective?
Yeah, exactly.
Not specifically,
Oh, yeah, okay, guys, so not
you
just
should be
shove
thinking,
towers, but-
yeah, not just shove towers. What am I going for right now? In my Jug game,
Yeah.
if you watch it back, it was very clear my tower objectives were here. Because I kept going back there. Okay?
Okay.
So if you're ahead, how it works is, or if you're the pace setter, your job is to continually apply pressure on an objective until you eventually take it. Sometimes you're strong enough to just walk in and take it, meaning you can just walk up to the tower and hit it. Sometimes you need to literally shove the lane in for 10 minutes in a row until you get that tower.
Yeah, that happens to the point where we get thrown down to 200 HP this game and still lose, but...
My point is, you're in 4K. Are you allowed to mess up and still win the game?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, of course. So, like, I'm giving you all...
The game's already be over.
Yeah, like, I'm saying in 7K, this game's unwinnable at this point. Like,
Yeah, right.
Like, I actually would lose this game almost every time based on what's happened in this game so far. Okay, so yeah, you definitely just way over prioritize jungle creeps. Jungle creeps are a luxury that you get once you've taken care of every other responsibility on the map.
So I don't usually go Battle Fury on Jug. I forget why I did this game, but I think my rationale is once I have it, I'm like supposed to be hitting jungle creeps, which is probably wrong, but...
No, that's incorrect. So, items don't change... Items don't change any of these rules, okay? Like, you literally need to think about the game the way I'm telling you it applies, and then when you buy an item, like, why you buy that
I'm
item.
trying to tell you
So-
why I'm framed in that
No.
mindset,
So I
which is
want
wrong,
you
but-
to understand that I'm hearing you, and I do appreciate that you're telling me it. What I'm telling you now is, like, that needs to drop the fuck out of your mind, like, immediately.
Yeah, I
Like,
get that,
my
yeah.
point is, like, Battle Fury does not mean I hit more creeps. Battle Fury means I clear creep waves faster, and if I clear them faster and the lanes are shoved properly, I now have more time to hit more creeps. And then I can
Right.
go hit more creeps. But,
Right,
like, if
okay,
the lanes
yeah.
are not shoved properly,
Okay.
that does not mean I farm a Battle Fury. If I'm an anti-mage, though, you know, if I'm against a team like yourself that should be pace setting, meaning you should be forcing objectives, and I have a
you got
Battle
the tempo.
Fury on anti-mage, and you're not forcing objectives, am I content hitting neutrals for 15 minutes?
No, it's awful. Yeah, we want to be...
No.
in the game.
If I'm anti-mage against you, and you
Oh,
are
sorry,
not
anti-mage.
forcing
Yeah,
objective,
yeah.
right? So if I'm anti-mage and I'm flipping this on you, and you have a Battle Fury, when is it important as anti-mage that I'm hitting lane creeps?
Whenever he can.
Like whenever you're showing somewhere else so that he can go hit creeps, right?
Yeah, exactly,
It's
yeah.
based on like what your team's doing, that he's like deciding where to be. So on what part of the map should I be playing as anti-mage?
It's the same part,
As you?
right? Oh, wait, no, sorry. Who am I in this fucking scenario?
You're the anti-mage.
Jug, right? Oh, I want to stay away from me.
Okay,
From
so
Jug.
how do I judge where to play on the map? You. If I'm Jug, I decide where to play on the map based on where I
you
want
go
to play.
anti-mage.
So I'm just
Yeah.
giving you and everyone else the clear-cut purpose of a Battle Fury, like what it's doing. As anti-mage, it's I'm clearing creep waves and creep camps faster, but I'm only clearing creep waves as a reaction to you doing it. But as Jug, I need to clear every fucking creep wave, push it into all their towers, and then if there's nothing else to do, I'll hit some jungle creeps. Like
Right, okay,
that's
I gotcha.
that's the difference here, okay? But like if anti-mage was hitting neutrals every time you were pressuring a tower, that's also just as bad. Right? Because and that's what I was doing a bit earlier was I said I was a bit slow. Was like there was one time I could have been to the bottom lane about 20 seconds earlier, and after fight like something happened where I couldn't fight them. I was the anti-mage. I couldn't fight, and I almost took their racks. And if I had been to bottom lane like 20 seconds earlier, I would have
you
either
would've had it,
I would have
right.
either had the racks or they would have had to stop their push. But because I was a bit late, right? So it's just important to be a fast reaction as an anti-mage as it is to be as sense of urgency to push when you're the Jug. So, and like how much you push is based on, and the reason why I say like this game's out of your control is because your job against the anti-mage is to split push aggressively and maintain like momentum and stuff on the map. But now I don't feel like you can do that. So
Right.
that's why I said the late game's out of your control. If everyone plays correctly, you lose this game. Like, that's how I look at it. When I say the game's unwinnable, the best way I word it is, like, what that actually means is if both teams don't do stupid shit, you're going to lose. Like,
Right.
that's,
right.
like,
in an optimal scenario, if both teams play optimally from this point, I'll never win.
Yeah, you'll never win, exactly. You're now under the influence of them messing up. Like, that is what decides whether or not you win this game. Okay. At this point, all that happens is chaotic fights that break out, and whether or not you win them decides how you win the game. And that's not how you gain MMR, right?
Right.
Relying on chaotic fights going one way or the other.
Variance, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, if you consistently control the map and you just play the right part of it, like, things are just going to go your way a higher percentage of the time. It's just like playing a poker hand properly. It's like, if you play it properly, it should work most of the time. Like, it's not always going to work. Like, there will be times where you...
Yeah. I was a pro tournament player for a while, and
something you said earlier in this
fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, something else you said earlier made me realize you played poker. So, do you have another game for me? I don't think I want to.
Yeah, sure. I just had one that I thought we were gonna win. That we ended up losing. Here, it's I'm trying to learn Monkey King.
Okay. Yeah,
so
I've been recently. Go ahead.
Still kind of bad at it, but getting better. I'm above like 50% win rate, but
okay.
It's definitely like mechanically rougher. But I basically counterpicked him. We had an invoker pick to go mid, and he bitched out once he saw Brood, so I counterpicked Monkey King, which I think in my mind is a counterpick. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'd say like now that Brood's been nerfed, I'd say overall Monkey King's just a good matchup against Brood. A lot of pro players have picked Monkey King against Brood. It, like, really good. That's like a matchup where if the Brood's like way better at her hero than you are, she'll win. But like,
I like zoned him out of the lane. I thought I did most things right, but we got owned.
So usually when you win your lane, it's like you're a hero like Jug or Monkey King. It's your job to like set the pace of the game, right? Like, and
yeah,
so we already saw. Yeah, I'm saying we already saw that happen incorrectly last game. So now we can see it a different way on Monkey King, most likely.
Yeah, this is probably my bigger leak.
So for me, like when I realized all this stuff that I learned, right? I pretty much spent the entire last year working on my like 10 to 20 minute mark. Okay, it's still not perfect on every hero. Like when I'm learning new heroes, it still like takes a little while for me to understand them. But like my point is like for you, I like until you learn this part of the game, it's just not like it's just you just have to learn
and when to react.
Yeah, it's like the decision becomes like honestly, I say this over and over again on all my sessions. The decisions are the same 45 minutes into the game. It's just even harder to make those decisions because everyone has a ton of levels, everyone has a ton of items.
Right.
Like, so much could have happened between 20 minutes and 45 that, like, changes it based on the
lines are blurrier, too, like, where you can go, probably.
Exactly. Sometimes you can't go anywhere at that stage in the game just because, like, you know, it becomes easier and easier to kill people as the game goes on. So farming naturally becomes more and more complicated as the game goes on because a lot of it's like team-based. You pretty much like have to just group up and do stuff. And at that point in your bracket, you're not in control of the game. Very few games will you actually be like unkillable 45 minutes into the game. What am I missing here?
Oh, I'm signing up for your coaching session right now.
Oh!
And it got unpaused. So yeah, that first wave was brutal.
Oh yes, I said okay. Well, that happens.
Yeah. So I was like, hold up. But yeah, just keep going. Just look past that. It's all good.
Okay. We'll ignore that. That's definitely a first. Okay, so that definitely changes things because you should be ahead level 1, but now you're not. So either way, it still should be like a good lane for you. Not gonna worry too much about like creep aggro and stuff right now.
He was like playing so scared. I didn't find a reason to creep aggro really. Like
when I say creep aggro, I mean like. Go ahead. Okay. Let's go ahead and finish your thought.
I mean, I was kind of just zoning him out of the lane. That was like my game plan.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I usually like creep aggro. This might be a leak too, but I only creep aggro when I feel like pressured, I guess.
Yeah, creep aggro can be used defensively and aggressively. I'd say it's one of those things where if you use it when you're supposed to use it aggressively, it's like a lot less backfiring than if you don't do it than when you should be doing it defensively. Because like when you use it aggressively, it's like a win more thing. When you don't use it defensively, it's like I get crushed. Like that's kind of
right.
So I'm not
basically anytime he enters the lane, I fucking auto attack him. And then I just creep, basically, when he's not in the lane.
Yeah, I'm not watching this part too much, because this, like, part of the laning stage, Monkey King vs. Brood, is pretty straightforward, and I haven't seen anything nuts, so I'm watching what you do with this advantage. Is like the reason why I'm not pausing and commenting is like I
Do
said.
I leave lane at any point, or am I content with this? I felt like very content free farming the lane.
Yeah, you should. You're kind of like a Huskar in this scenario. Like if you can free farm mid, you should just do it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I do it for a while. We have like some guy crying about the other lanes.
Like the only option in this is like so. If you're content free farming the lane, it's the same idea as what I mean by you want to play a specific part of the map in the 20-minute mark. If you TP to a gank, what's your immediate follow-up after you gank somebody?
Push the tower.
If you are completely content free farming the mid lane and you kill somebody in this game,
sorry, go back to mid.
yeah, you go right back to mid, like immediately.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So like this is an example where you can participate in fights by all means, but like, why are you so content free farming mid? Why are you so content? Think about it this way.
I got PTSD from last replay.
Yeah. Wait, so if you're content free farming mid, why? Think of a reason from his perspective. If you're free farming a lane, what do you usually like for the opponent?
He's like looking for any moment that you're not in the lane, so he can like.
Okay, so basically you're also like drastically lowering his farm too.
Yeah.
So it's not only important for you to go back to mid because you're free farming, it's important to go back because you need to stop him from farming at the same time, right? Like you're doing so much by free farming. Like almost any game this patch, if you're free farming, the other guy's also getting massively affected by the fact that you're there. It's just like with Huskar. Like the minute he leaves the lane, he's relieving like a ton of pressure on whoever's supposed to be there. So generally, Huskars don't leave lane until they like take the tier 1, and then they want to take like another tier 1. That's like, but that's why they don't leave, right? It's not just because they're free farming; it's because the other guy's not. So.
Yeah, so I guess that being said, like I felt like I was free farming, but I didn't really feel like I could slam the lane, like because every time it got to tower, he could kind of come back and farm the wave.
So you have, I'd say like until phase boots, I don't think you could really do anything. But now that you have phase, you should be. I'd go treads by the way because you one shot the spiders.
Oh, I did not know that.
Notice how you're not one shotting the spiders.
Yeah, that was frustrating. Yeah.
Okay, so that's just something to note. You either have to go triple wraith with your level 4 stun, or you have to go.
Yeah, that's just game knowledge. I don't know. Okay, so
that's just like that's like something I'm just mentioning, but like obviously, like you said, I'm not gonna harp on it because it's just something like. That's like a very, it's like a very small thing, right? I mean, spiders have 250 health with no armor. So unless the brood has Basilius, 225%, right? You have to hit with a quelling. So you have to have to 225%. Let's actually do the math. I've done the items, but let's do the math. 250 health, 120, 110. It'd be about 110 damage you would need. Yeah, 110 almost exactly.
And what? Tread gives me like 10.
So right now, with quelling, you have 112. And you need... Gotcha. And so now, like, you're... like it's so close, right? And, like, if you just go over that... So that's why I said triple Wraith Band. The reason why you... Actually, right now, you should one-shot them. The reason you weren't one-shotting them was because you had level 3 stun and instead of level 4 when you were doing it. So, like, if you have level 3 stun, you needed... 125 damage. So like right now you have
also the right skill build.
So the way I look at it is I'd probably leave 3 points in passive, and then I would probably go 4 points boundless for the reason I already said, and then I would start maximizing these just to get I'd get at least 1 or 2 points, and then just because I want to be able to do stuff. I don't
have tree dance. I really regretted.
Yeah, I think the 4th point in passive is just like kind of unnecessary. The time where I'll go passive max is when I'm gonna stay in lane, and it actually matters that I have that extra. Like, you don't need this extra lifesteal and damage in order to crush this lane, right? Like, there are lanes, I don't know, like, I can't give specific examples, but there are lanes where, like, that little bit of extra damage and little bit of extra lifesteal actually makes it so you continue to crush the lane rather than...
Well, I kept thinking he was gonna, like, man up and fight me, and then I would get the value from Jingu, but that just never happened. Because I've only played this matchup twice, it's my 2nd time playing it. And the first time the guy was always trying to fight me, and it was like 20 MK games ago, so I wasn't owning him.
I got you.
Or maybe he was, so I don't know. Maybe I was just thinking about that matchup.
So, right now, I'd say overall, like, what you're doing is fine, but the way I look at it is when you're in the mid lane, so when I say fine, it means that it's not perfect, but it's like, I'm not going to bash it too much. The way I look at the mid lane, this is the best way to describe this game in a nutshell, like, the way I want to think about mid. When you are winning mid, and you're like, meaning like you have the favorable matchup, there's 2 things you can do with it. 1, you take the tower, or 2, you go kill other people. That's like the 2 choices you have.
Yeah.
So what's
should I be able to
important?
take this tower?
So that's like, in this case, I don't think you should be able to. So
I don't think I can.
that
I'll
can
try,
be
but-
a lot of based on like, it's different for every matchup, okay? So what I'm trying to tell you, I don't think you should be able to take this tower. My point is, rather than thinking about specific matchups at this current moment, I need you to know how to analyze from the mid lane, okay? So the way I look at it is, if I'm absolutely free farming, I ask myself based on my matchup whether or not that's going to turn into the tower, okay? There's sometimes where I'll still think I can take the tower and then I feed. Like, it's not like I know this on every hero, right? This is why knowing, like, specific hero matchups at my bracket's, like, super important. But, like, what you need to know is, I'm either taking this tower, or I need to convert my lead into something, right? That's what I'm trying to say. So it's either this tower or somewhere else. So the way that it works is, if you're ahead in lane, what should the lane look like? In terms of the lane equilibrium, what should it look like if you're ahead?
I mean, wherever you want it to be, right? And I guess
Where do you want it to be when you are ahead?
and at the tower. I
Okay,
guess.
okay. So, like, you know, you said the same answer last time, and
Well, it's just like I feel like it depends.
well, I'm saying at 9 minutes into the game, if you are winning, the lane better be at their fucking tower, or like you're doing something wrong. Okay, so
Okay, so like keeping the creeps on my side of the hill and like making sure he can't get a single last hit. That's way
that's
fucking
good
better
at
than
like
the tower.
6 minutes into the game.
Gotcha,
7
at this
minutes into the
point.
game. So there was a game that I eventually I was gonna do my freaking like how to apply pressure video today, and then my computer froze and my whole file got deleted with all my saved replays and fucking like notes on them. So out of laziness, I'm still not doing it today. But like I had a game where, you know, I have a free farming Jug who's level 10 and the Tide is level 5, and the Tide still has his tower at 15 minutes into the game. And I'm just like, and my, you know, my whole chat sees that I'm getting dove mid and dying. When, why do you think they're diving me mid and dying? Because they're not getting pressure.
applying
It's like
pressure,
the guy
yeah,
who's level
yeah.
10 isn't taking the tower from the guy who's level 5. And it's like,
Yeah, it's systemic from
So-
that. Which
and
I,
so-
yeah, it's clearly something I'm not doing.
so
good
what
with.
happens in this game is what I'll see is, you probably last picked, right? Absolute last pick?
Oh yeah, for sure. I was
So-
gonna go position 1. Yeah.
Yeah, generally speaking, when you absolutely last pick, it's usually in your hands to just take over the game. Like, that's just how it is. And that's kind of the problem with this patch right now is, like, you know, people always say, BSJ, you're getting carried and shit. It's like, the guy who last picks is actually supposed to carry me. I'm supposed to, like, not lose. Like, if you think about it, like, I'm going to get countered. My game's going to be kind of hard. I'm supposed to just not feed and not be, like, a burden. Like, that's my job if I third pick my carry, right? Like, that's my job. So, as the Monkey King, since you're in the advantageous matchup and you absolutely last picked, guess what? Your teammates are probably, in most games, going to be at disadvantageous matchups, right? The only time they're not
Right.
is
Give him a
when...
fucking invoker safe lane.
Yeah,
you're-
the point is, the only time that they're not is when the opponent drafts incorrectly. Like,
Right.
the
right.
opponent was allowed to counterpick them, they just didn't, or whatever.
Right. That makes sense.
So I feel like if I fourth pick my carry, or like third, fourth pick my carry, and they don't counter me, it's literally like the easiest fucking games in the world, because then we have 2 heroes that aren't countered. And it's like, or, you know, no matter what my mid player's last pick is, it's like easy to win. But either way, so like, I actually would be curious. I should look through my game history, what my win rate is on last pick. I feel like I haven't lost a last pick game in a long time.
Can you aggregate like that? Are you able to see that kind of shit?
I actually don't know. I'm gonna ask my chat after this game because I'm interested. Because like I remember specifically, I always last pick my mid, and like whenever I go mid, like this this Terrorblade pick was not. Oh, that wasn't last. This Morphling and Dragonite pick were last, and this Medusa pick here was last. This one was not because he responded with Huskar. I'd be curious. I'd be curious to look at these games and know whether or not, because I usually
yeah, it's significantly higher.
usually carry does not last pick. Usually it's the mid lane, right? So my point is though, if they're at the disadvantage and you're at the advantage, if you saw my last coaching session, remember how I talked about the reason why they lost that game was the Jug, the one guy who won his lane, didn't use the advantage properly. If you lose 2 lanes and you win
reason
one,
I lost my game. Yeah.
yes. So, like, one of my point is, though, if you're ahead in lane, the reason why it's so important to shove the tower in, like, 9 minutes into the game-ish, it can be earlier, okay? Like, I don't want to give you, like, it's okay to do this at 6 minutes. Like, there are games where you're supposed to leave your lane at, like, 6 minutes in. Like, there are, like, when I say leave your lane, I don't mean permanently leave. I mean, go do something really quick and then come back. The point is, if you push in the lane, how much time are you buying yourself? Like, so if you clear the wave instantly, how much time are you buying yourself to do something before you need to be back to, like, defend your tower?
30 seconds.
30 seconds, right? So that's the point, is when you're at the advantage, if you push in the lane constantly, your choice is now to push their tower, which is effective in certain times, or to go do something. That can be controlling bounty runes at 5 minutes. That can be picking up a rune bottom at 6 minutes. Like, runes are a huge deal in the mid lane. Bounty runes, real runes, like, those can turn into ganks all the time. Like, just setting yourself for opportunities. It's like, you know, they used to, like, they still kind of call it that, like the S4 haste rune. Like, it's like, people say S4 is so lucky with runes or whatever. Why do you think he's lucky? He literally checks every single rune. Like,
yeah, I never really play mid either.
Yeah.
So
no, it's that's what I'm saying. Like, this is why I've struggled in the past on mid. I've gotten a lot better at it recently. I still struggle to play like specific mid laners because like I'm not mechanically good at those mid laners. But like if I'm playing mechanically simple mid laners, my mid lane goes well because I just like I'm getting better at these like general things. So like my point is though, if you're in the safe lane or the mid lane, the idea of applying tower pressure, and if you can't do that, going and doing something else. So like in the game where Jug, the guy I was coaching was support, and that Jug, it's like that Jug can't really push the tower in a Sand King because he doesn't threaten to kill the Sand King, and the Sand King's just going to sandstorm the wave. But he can go threaten the Slark to go push a tower. So since he's strong, he should go do that, right? Like if you're the strong hero in the game, you need to do something. So like even though you're winning your lane, there's a lot of times where you're kind of just chilling. If you rewind this game, there are a lot of times where you're kind of just chilling here. Those are the times that you should have been looking to go do something. It probably should have started around like 8 minutes. Is like what I'm thinking.
So just to restate, you just at like around 8 minutes when I know I have the advantage, I'm probably the strongest hero on the map. Slam and then go look to do something in those 30 seconds.
Yeah, basically the amount you're shutting him down is not worth how much you're losing elsewhere. Like that's how I'm looking at it. Like. Eventually, if you're free farming your lane at some point, what you're doing to the opponent is less like the guy you're laning against, is less impactful than helping your teammates.
Yeah, there's like a tipping point.
Yeah, and that's like, and there's no specific minute, right? Like that's why I'm trying to say like, sometimes it's 5 minutes, sometimes it's all the way till 15. You know, like Broodmother's a hero that will stay in her own lane for a really long time, but eventually, if you see really good Broodmother players. When they're crushing their lane, they'll invade other lanes. Like sometimes as early as like 8 or 9 minutes too. You know.
So what happens here is I TP down here and like figure out I'm probably way ahead, and he just fucking immediately slams my tower. And I derp around and I don't think I get this kill even.
So.
Like this is like I feel like this was like a really awful outcome for something that I thought was probably
okay.
the best decision at the time.
Let me quiz question you here. Why do you think the Broodmother slammed your tower here when you leave?
Well, because I'm not there, right?
Okay, so why here instead of like why would it be okay to do what you did at like 7 minutes but not at 12?
He's not strong enough.
Yeah, because Broodmother at 12 minutes will slam your fucking tower when you leave.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's like that's what I mean is like if you wait too long, eventually what you're supposed to be doing in the game, like honestly, some games can be absolutely thrown at like 6 minutes in. Okay, because like you were supposed to push that advantage at 6 minutes and you didn't.
What do you think about hoarding this gold? I actually like don't have a great gauge for if he's hitting neutrals and I'm free farming. Where he's at gold wise, and I wasn't sure like how fast the Orchid was going to come out, and I wasn't sure what item to build. What do you think about
Broodmothers in your bracket go Orchid?
Oh, dude, yeah.
This guy's going Diffusal. This guy's actually building it correctly.
Okay, yeah, shit ton of broods go Orchid in my bracket.
That's interesting. Okay, yeah, I mean not many broods go Orchid in my games. So I'm kind of the position one for the team, right? Because I have an Invoker. But also, I know I need to play aggressive this game, right? Because I've been strong this entire laning stage. I personally believe Manta's like really fucking good here, not just because of the Orchid, but they have Slardar and they have Tree. So like Manta's like
I was gonna go Manta, and then I make a decision to go Echo Saber because they're just like putting so much pressure.
Yeah, I would almost certainly go Manta Diffusal this game just because.
That was where my fucking head was at, and then we started fighting a lot, and I ended up going Echo Saber like last minute.
Yeah, Manta's like good against pretty much all their heroes. Broodmother's like exclusively single target. Tree obviously, and then Slardar ult. Yeah, like if I was having a rougher game, meaning like I was just trying to farm while my team was making space for me, I would go like Echo Saber or Battle Fury into BKB. but like because BKB just I need to fight if I'm not far ahead. But Manta's like a nice snowball item this game because it like kind of spurs your farm ahead by making you move and attack faster. With the Yasha,
I itemized totally wrong then.
And
everything that you said, I did like the opposite of.
Yeah, so like my idea here is at this point, genuinely, it's too late. Like you're like it's a situation where if one of your other lanes went okay or the other lanes went even, what you're doing in this game wouldn't be punished, okay? But like because you're the only lane that won and your other teammates are now fight like what's effectively happening with you trading farm with Brood right now is even though she's getting less farm than you, what's happening is you're in a 4v the rest of the map isolated from you two is a 4v4 where the other 4 are stronger than your 4.
Right.
And so notice how you've lost two towers. So like that's what's happening right now, right? So like you said, exactly. It's just not good enough. Like that's like and that's how you kind of end up deciding at some point when you get better at Dota like when you're supposed to leave your lane. Because at what point is me free farming worth more than whatever's happening on the map? Or like worth less, I guess, is the better question. Worth less than what's happening on the rest of the map. So and that's like a fine balance, and I don't actually have like an exact science for you, right? Like you just have to be you just have to be aware of the concept existing, and then start to think about it in your games. And I would say overall, it's like very difficult to learn this from a carry player's perspective in the mid lane because the way you apply advantages from the carry is way different generally. And in this patch, like I'd say most games as carry, I'm not at the advantage just because I'm usually 3rd, 4th pick, so I get countered. And so like people see my game right here, okay, and this Morphling game where I went 3-1-14 and my OD's 27-0, and they're all like BSJ talking about his own game when he just gets carried. It's like, yeah, this guy has absolute last pick. My job is like if you saw this game, I avoided a bad lane matchup and then proceeded to have pretty good impact on the game, and at 10 minutes into the game, I show up in OD's lane, he gets ganked, and instead of him dying, we turn it for a kill because I'm there. And that's like a perfect example of my job as a carry in this game is to not feed and like enable this guy to carry me. Like that's actually my job is enable him to carry me even though I'm the carry because I picked 4th, right? So or and so like when you're this Monkey King, you have to. And if you watch this OD, this is actually a good game to watch, honestly. I think this guy was I'm almost certain this was a Smurf. Like, I'm like, based on the way this guy played, I'm like 90% sure it was a Smurf. He basically did exactly what I would want you to do with an advantage from the mid lane. He farmed for like 8 or 9 minutes and then just ran around the map applying pressure, asking for people to show up, and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so just to restate, I should have spent the 2,000 gold right when I got it, got the Yasha, and went fucking bashing people.
I would say you should already be running around the map before you get that Yasha, but like while you're running around the map, you do get that Yasha, so then you run around the map faster, and like it's even more.
In like a 9-minute Yasha with like treads, and I was like so far ahead, dude.
Yeah.
Like I just didn't.
That's what I'm saying. Is there the thing is. It's really hard. I'm sending you the ID for this if you ever want to just watch the first like 10 minutes for this OD. Like I would say if you turn that game on at like 7 minutes and then watch until 15, it'll help you a lot about like how to play these type of things. Because when you have last pick, it's just not enough to, like you said, sit there getting your own farm. Okay. Like honestly, at this point, I don't feel the need to watch this game. So you paid like full price, obviously, I'm doing that to dissuade people, but do you have one more game you want to watch or anything else you want to question before?
Yeah. Let me pull one up.
Okay, cool. We can watch one more.
Let's see what happens in this one. Let's see, 8 and 5, and we lose. Probably not a good one.
Take the time to like think about whatever games you're looking at and just see if there's some game that you thought like, maybe I could have done something better.
I think it's gonna be like a reoccurring pattern of like what I'm doing wrong, but I think that's why I fucking am here, right? To figure out.
Generally players make the same mistakes over and over again. That's generally like what happened, like myself included.
I think I get far ahead in this game too, and probably just don't do.
Based on my like watching you'd be like a better anti-mage Luna player than you would be like a Jug, Slark, Ursa player.
Yeah,
That's what comes to mind for me.
I play those heroes too. Oh, yeah, I think that's right.
How much Terrorblade do you play?
Like 3 patches ago, I spammed it like from 2K to 3K, and just fucking printed money with that shit. And then one patch, I forget which patch it was. I think it was like 7.18 or something. I stopped. I don't know if I moved up too fast with it, and I was just getting dumpstered because I wasn't good enough. But there was like a period where I think he's like my 4th most played hero.
Okay.
I don't play him like at all anymore.
Okay, so my response about Terrorblade and like why I think he's like a good player or a good carry for you is he's a carry that's his 2 options in the mid game are he's either the strong carry that applies pressure on their dead lane by just continuously sending illusions down it, and if they ever leave, you just kill the tower, or he's weak in the game. This is all based on lineup, right? And it's his job to send illusions at his own dead lane to relieve the pressure, right? Like that's usually the 2 jobs of Terrorblade. So, but the thing about Terrorblade is he's a hero. Like if you're an anti-mage, you are literally always the hero that doesn't apply pressure, and your team makes space for you. Terrorblade is based on the game, so you actually have to make like an educated decision on what role you play in that game based on like how much kill threat they have on you and all that kind of stuff, like how passively you have to play. So I think he would be a beneficial hero for you to like add to one of your main heroes this patch, not only because he's good, but like also because you will have to critically think about whether or not you're the anti-mage or you're the juggernaut in this scenario.
Yeah, I already have like the micro down too, I guess. Like, yeah, I should probably start adding him back. I probably haven't played him in like 200 games.
You're Jug here, right? I'm just assuming. I forget like what your name in game was.
I'm
okay.
Jug.
So same build. Do you know why you go 4 branches, or like just curious, or do you just kind of follow what RTZ does?
I just love the extra. No, I just like the extra regen, and I generally don't have like mana issues.
When you say regen, you mean what do you mean?
Well, I'm like getting double value from the Tango.
Oh, okay, sorry.
And then I can usually build it into a wand. But I think that like one itemization leak is I'm probably overbuilding wand. I almost always assume in these in this meta at least, like the offlane's high pressure, lots of spells being casted. So I almost always get a wand on this hero.
Okay.
So I just plan ahead for that. I figure 2 of these are turning into double tangos, and then 2 are going to a wand. But
so I can tell like your lane equilibrium manipulation's like really good. I see that. But like in this lane, I'd say like having the lane near your tower and just denying like you are is actually the correct move. So what happens in this lane is like you look really good at laning right now to me because that's what you're supposed to be doing in this lane. But in the other lane,
when it's not,
when you weren't, so basically you're doing something that I used to do, and what a lot of players in your bracket do, where they play every game the same fucking way, right? So
yeah,
like,
I definitely am in that zone
yeah,
right now.
and so that's almost every 4K player actually. Like I would say that's the like defining trait of 4K players. You're like mechanically skilled enough to be really good at one thing that you do, but you have no idea how to like not do that. Like you know what I mean? Like
this is the first MMR bracket where I think I've been stuck here for a month and a half. And,
okay.
Yeah, that's why I figured it was worth the money, just because clearly I'm not doing something right. Like
yeah,
it hasn't been a cakewalk, like I downswing down to like 3,500 and like grinded it back up, but definitely fucking stuck here.
Yeah, go get those tangos. It hurts me. I understand there were some serious courier issues there, but did you just sell those tangos? Is that what just happened?
Wait, I don't think so.
You dropped them to pick up your Wraith Band, and then...
Oh, holy shit, dude. I remember what happened here. I go back and get them later.
Oh my god, okay, okay. I'm not even going to worry about that. But, like, right now, like, you're doing the right thing because this is all you're supposed to do. You're supposed to chill here. They're not really pressuring you.
There was, like, a carrier fuck-up, and I freaked out, and someone was yelling at me, and I, like, forgot about them. And then, like, 3 minutes later, I, like, remember them.
Yeah, when random shit, like, people yelling at you about a courier happens, like, you definitely, this shit kind of happens. Okay.
Well, my inventory was full because of the extra fucking branch, right? And
no,
I'm
saying you don't even have to justify yourself. Like, I'm aware that random shit like this happens. It happens to me, too. So, what I'm looking at now is I've established an advantage. So, I want you to static this lane while standing here.
Wait, say that one more time?
I want you to do exactly... So, you're ahead right now.
Yeah.
And you're staticking the lane because you don't have enough of an advantage right now to do anything with it. But you're unfucking killable, okay? So instead of standing right here, stand right here. How do they fucking kill you?
Well, doesn't Doom get 6 off this wave, or is that wrong? 6 off this wave? 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 Oh no.
You're
Okay.
winning. If
Yeah.
you're winning and this is your level,
Yeah.
you're like free.
remember.
I assure you, if you're like free farming,
I just played this game. Like,
yeah,
a
I'm just
second
saying,
ago.
if you're free farming and you're 3-0, there's no way in hell he's higher level than you are. Like, you have 23 denies. There's no way he's higher level than you are. So my point is, like, you're unkillable, so you should be standing here instead of here. That's like a perfect
Wait,
example.
what does that do? I guess just like guards the lane better.
What does it not do compared to this?
Yeah, I mean.
Don't you have to draw a line every single game? So, like, right now, if you're standing right here, this Doom's not going to walk up and eat the catapult. If he does, he's getting stunned and spun on.
So true. Okay.
Like, you see
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
fuck
Like,
me.
it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
a small example, right? But it's something where if you just stand in the right place, natural things are going to be good. Like, okay.
You just fucking see the future,
Okay,
dude.
time out. Well, no. To be fair, I rewound like there to help you with that one, but like that is
Okay.
something that I've had happen where whenever I'm against Doom, I know I'm not supposed to let him eat my catapult if I'm ahead. Like, so that is something I've already learned from, but I had already seen that in this specific
that thought
game.
has literally never crossed my mind once.
Yeah, whenever you're
So-
against Doom or Marana, if you're ahead, you should be strongly concerned of them casually like walking up and arrowing
Okay,
or
where's the
devour-
line there? Do you tank the fucking arrow?
There are certain games where I am perfectly fine tanking the fucking arrow for a catapult. It just depends on, like, if it's a 4-second arrow going to kill me. Okay, so notice how in this game, I'm showing you my same game from earlier because I want to show you what I'm talking about. So, like, I'm in a similar situation where I'm not quite as, I think it's at 7 minutes, but if you watch the lane, like, I'm pretty much free farming. I die once like an idiot, in a second here. But, like, I'm pretty much free farming the lane, and Sand King ends up leaving. So I want to show you what happens to Cat. Okay, so what's Coddle going to do while Sand King's gone?
Probably shove the lane.
Okay, and he's going to sit in the trees and shove the lane, right?
Yeah.
So I know, based on in your game, what Doom's going to do, what I should be doing. So in my game, I want you to watch what I do after I clear the wave.
It's just a pro glyph, dude.
Just watch. Just no. Just watch though. At some point.
Tower is under attack.
Okay. So I farm the neutrals. I push Sand King out of the lane here. It's coming up instead of going back to the creep wave. See the difference?
Oh my god, yes, you get an easy kill here. Huh?
Yeah, no. If he's there, he fucking dies. Okay, he's not there, we're good. Like, you see what I'm like, my Pudge is just farming the lane. Right? And like look what's happening here. Like look at my strength compared to them, right? Like my Pudge is just farming the lane freely.
Yeah,
and now look at what I do. I'm literally looking for Coddle this entire fucking time.
Huh, yeah.
Look at what's happening to them from one hero. You see this, right? Like,
Yeah.
and now have I missed any farm really? Like I've handed a creep.
Question though.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know you went like all the way around, right?
Yeah.
And I know these guys are way better than me. They're just scared if wait, just pause for a sec.
Okay.
I can't draw on your screen, so this sucks. Like
Yeah.
that little crease, like right before their tower. Scroll up, I guess.
Over here?
Back down. Down. Right there. So they're falling all the way back to their tier 1 just because you're off the map right there?
Yeah. What happens if I find the Coddle with level 6?
Interesting. I don't
What
think
happens to
players in my
him?
bracket would even do that. Yeah, he's
No.
dead, yeah.
Okay, so what happens to me if they stun me with Sand King?
Probably still getting a kill.
I mean, I'm forcing them to use resources and then I walk away.
Yeah. Well, I think you still get... Yeah, okay, sure.
You see what I'm saying, though? They have to defend themselves. In worst case scenario, I walk away.
I'm just surprised you didn't get a kill, I guess.
What I'm saying is if I'm level 5 on Jug with free farm and the Doom's level 4, what's the worst thing that's ever going to happen to me? Maybe I get hooked and he hits me with his Eon Doom and then I walk away, right?
Right.
Maybe I have to spend a healing ward, right? Maybe.
Right.
But like if I see him, I can like walk at him and hit him, right? Like that's like that's what should
Right,
be happening.
interesting.
So in this case, like the point that I'm trying to make is the only reason ever that you don't play aggressive on the map is because they're going to stop you from doing it. Like I'm scared of
Gotcha.
nothing in this
Yeah.
game, right? So like I'm literally chasing this guy forever, and then I finally get the kill at 9:45. Do you think that kill happened because I've been chasing the guy for 3 minutes? you know what I'm saying? Like I'm literally like the thing about it in your game if you were the jug against that Coddle, he probably could have been out of position 3 or 4 times before you kill him.
I probably would have tanked like fucking 2 waves too. So.
Yeah, my point is, the goal that you eventually want to get to with your level of aggression is the first mistake they make, they die. Okay, like that's where you're trying to get to. So when I'm playing against like super good players, the way I can tell they're good players is when I make one mistake and I die. Like that's how I know they're good players, because like I just know, like, the second I'm like, God, that's the one time I've, like, stepped too far up in this lane, and then I just die. And that's, like, it's very aggravating to play against, because...
Right.
Because, like, you know, like, everyone messes up sometimes. That's, like, why the best players in the world still randomly die, because, like, you know, they're getting punished by other really good players. So I'm just giving you an example where, really, think about that line. And my best response, or, like, my advice and guidance on this... is, like, right now, he can't kill you. They're never killing you. Run at this fuck. Like, just walk at him. You don't have to right-click him. Keep walking at him. Okay, do you know how tower aggro works?
Yeah. So
how does it work?
Really, really close to it and I hit him.
It's probably better to give me than I'm really close to it.
It's like some fucking radius that I don't have memorized. I don't know.
You should have it memorized, by the way.
I can... If I'm, like, a certain distance away, I can hit him and then hit one of my own creeps and basically trade with the tower. I mean, like 1 for 1.
This is why I make videos. So the radius is 500. Do you know what tower attack radius is?
I'm gonna throw out a number and say 1250.
It's 700. So
fuck me.
Close. Do you have this setting on? Holding Alt shows tower attack range.
Oh yeah, I use that.
Okay.
I mean, there's no.
So if tower attack range is 700, then you should have a good feel for what 500 range is. So if I A-click somebody outside of tower aggro range, how does that interaction work? When does the tower start attacking me?
Outside of tower aggro
If I
range?
A-click him outside of tower range, and then I'm now attacking him within tower range, how long do I have before the tower aggro's me?
Wait, so I'm out of tower range. Oh,
So-
it's immediate, right?
How do
Or
creeps
no?
work? It's the same thing.
I thought it hits the thing closest to the tower, and then if you're within that 700 range and you're attacking a
Okay,
hero,
so...
it attacks you. Is that wrong?
Yeah, it's absolutely wrong. I'll show you. I have a whole video on this, but might as well educate you. And I guarantee 80% of chat doesn't know this. Okay, like I didn't know this.
I watched this video too, dude.
I didn't know this until last year.
I watched like a Jenkins video or something.
I actually didn't know this until last year. So let me just show you.
I thought there was like basically an inner circle that you definitely can't hit.
Okay, so let's go to. So basically, tower attack range is 700, right? So if the tower is attacking something else, and I attack this axe within that 500 range that I told you, it aggroes me, right?
Right.
So 700. If I A-click him from here...
Oh, what? Yeah.
Okay. If I A-click him outside of range, so I need more creeps. Let me get more creeps here. If I A-click him from outside of range...
Oh, okay. I slightly misunderstood the question.
I A-click him outside of range. I now have 3 seconds where I'm allowed to attack him. The tower will then aggro me.
Oh, shit.
So, the way to tower dive is to A-click him, attack him, and then A-click him outside, and then A-click him from outside. You see what I'm doing?
Yeah.
So,
okay, that's valuable.
it gives you 3 seconds, okay? Because that's how creeps and towers work. So, like, when it comes to tower aggro, when you A-click... So what happens on the map is when you A-click an enemy hero, the entire map of creeps as well as towers aggro, like, it checks for aggro, okay? So, the entire map checks whether or not they're supposed to attack you, is basically what happens. So then, for the next 3 seconds, anything that did not attack you will not attack you. Okay?
And then we'll recheck again.
And then at 3 seconds after that, so it's like a blink dagger. It's not something that continuously is every 3 seconds. It's something that the minute you take damage, it sets 3 seconds on blink dagger. You know what I'm saying? So the minute you issue an attack command on a hero, it starts the 3 seconds, right? It's not something where at 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, you know what I mean? It's not something where you have to do it based on this timer, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, when you're walking at... So, the reason why I told you to walk at this guy is because you walk past the tower so that you're 600 range past the tower here. Like, you A-click him here, and then you walk past the tower, like, to here.
Get out of that range.
To here, yeah.
Oh,
and then
that's a really helpful tip.
instead of taking 4 tower shots.
Hits.
You see, that's why I was so adamant about this, because if you're going to look to apply aggression and you don't understand tower aggro, that's going to happen.
You're going to have a bad time.
This is not applying aggression very good, or very well, sorry. So, like, that's why I thought that was so important to show you, because I'm trying to teach you how to apply aggression, and then you don't know tower aggro, so. Okay. Now you're level 6, he's level 6. You have a lion, so you're staying in lane, but I would not be diving. I would not be diving his tower.
Yeah.
I would be shoving the lane and farming neutrals here. That's what I would be doing. If he has teammates missing, I'd say if Pudge is missing, none of his other teammates actually kill you. I would say if Pudge is missing, I am pushing the lane and shoving. Oh, okay. Well, this guy's nice here. Nice, good. So he's dead. Shove the tower. Fort your creep wave. Sorry, I missed it. Sorry. See what I'm saying, though, right? Why are we not shoving the tower earlier?
God, I don't know.
Why were we not shoving the tower at 9 minutes? Because I said I wouldn't shove the tower here. Why were we not?
I don't know. Like
I literally said Doom has 6. That's why you're not shoving tower, okay? So you're not shoving tower because Doom has 6. So when you killed him, why should you shove tower?
I mean, I should be shoving the tower because I can't die.
Okay, here's how it works, man. At all times in the game, you identify your objective. Sometimes it's hitting creeps. Sometimes it's taking a tower. Sometimes it's taking Roche. What is the next question you ask yourself? I've already gone over it, but what's the next question you ask yourself?
Once you've identified the objective?
Yes. You
don't fucking do the objective.
No, you ask yourself what the objective is. What's the next question?
Can I do that objective right now?
Okay, so better way of asking that same question.
Go do the objective.
What's stopping me from doing it right now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, yeah.
That is not what you're saying. I mean, it kind of is, but, like, it's way better to ask yourself, instead of saying, can I do it right now, ask yourself, what's stopping me from doing it?
Sure, gotcha.
Because the minute, I'd much rather identify the absence of something than try to figure out exactly what something is. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, if I say, what's stopping me from pushing this tower is Doom 6, then guess what? The minute Doom's not here anymore, or Doom's dead, I'm shoving this fucking tower. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's that simple.
Yeah,
it's that simple. So, like, if I think about, if I'm trying to farm creeps, I'm trying to avoid this hero. Then, like, the minute that hero shows somewhere, that makes it very clear to me what I'm supposed to be doing in the game, okay? Like, if I'm trying to fight, or, like, if I want to fight, but I can't fight the Tide who has Ravage, maybe I'm going to look to go to the side of the map that Tide's not on, force him there, and then leave. And then go somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to play cat and mouse with their teamfight hero. But the point is, I told you at 9 minutes not to push. You weren't supposed to push this tower because of Doom.
But now Doom's dead.
And now Doom's dead. Hit the fucking tower. Like, you shouldn't let a level 5 Pudge. So earlier I said that you shouldn't be a Jug who can farm. Like, let the Silencer farm the. Like, you shouldn't be a Jug farming a creep wave that a Silencer can farm.
Yeah, right.
And in this case, you shouldn't be letting a 4-position Pudge defend a tower that only a Doom should be able to defend. Do you see what I'm saying? It's the same idea here.
Yeah, no, I totally see what you're saying.
Okay, cool. This guy has Boots Windlace, no regen, and he's not level 6. Like, he doesn't threaten
I just feel like a fucking idiot.
Well, the thing is, like, you haven't... It's not like these games are... You haven't had time to actually apply anything between these games, you know what I'm saying?
That's what I was saying when I picked the game. I was like, I know what's going to happen here. It's going to be the same fucking issue, right?
Yeah, luckily for you, they ganked you and fed.
They got fucking juked on.
So I would either go Yasha Battle Fury or Drums Battle Fury against Arc Warden Anti-Mage. Why?
So I literally never go Drums, and can you tell me why you go Drums, I guess? I just have no idea why you would go Drums.
So they give you more mana, and they give you more move speed and attack speed, so Jug...
So it's an alternative to Yasha?
It enables you to be more aggressive. Okay. So pretty much whether or not I'm being... Okay, so question. Based on what I just said, don't Drums and Yasha kind of do the same thing?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was just saying.
Okay,
Kind of
so
interchangeable, right?
Yeah. So which one what would affect... Okay, what does Drums do? Okay, so Yasha's obviously the better one in terms of, like, for you, because it builds into other stuff, okay?
Right.
So what does Drums do that Yasha doesn't do?
Team value.
Okay, so if I'm looking to play aggression, and I know I need one item to enable me to apply aggression, how do I decide if it's a Yasha or a Drums on Jug?
Yeah, do we need team value from it?
Whether or not the team is there to help me, like, whether or not I'm doing the...
Is this first a fucking AM again? God
yeah,
damn.
so that's what I'm saying, where, like, I will always go, like... The reason why on Jug is, like, it just ramps up the pace of the game so much. Like, it actually, if I'm in a game where I'm the one that's supposed to be passively farming and they have heroes that kill me, I'm not going to go either of those items, because then I'm trying to build an aggressive item in a game where I can't be aggressive. Like, that just makes no sense, right? Like, that's why Anti-Mage never builds Drums, right? Because it's like a mid-game aggression item, and that's just not what Anti-Mage actually does.
Wait, what's the price difference, just out of curiosity?
Drums is like 1,500. Drums are pretty cheap. 15-25.
And you can build them easier in pieces too. Okay.
Yeah, and they give you like mana to work with. And this patch, they buffed them for agi carries. Like they now give 6 agility instead of 3. Like it's, I mean, and with your ulti, it's 35 attack speed. I mean, it's like overall, it's like a pretty feels good item for Jug
and
in
you
terms
can pop it while you're
like in my game. I wasn't free farming by any means, and I had a 17-minute Drums Battle Fury treads. Like I was like, you can get Drums Battle Fury treads if you're forcing objectives while farming, and like you can do so much on the map if like meaning if they don't have heroes that kill Jug, like then they don't have heroes that kill you. So like you can just
the only thing I'm scared of, I think.
Yeah, but like actually though, if you get doomed, Drums give you like more move speed to just run away from the doom.
Right. Okay, yeah. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. There's a lot of times where on Jug I like Drums with the treads. Treads give you nice damage, but then the Drums like still enable you to close the gap. Like giving yourself like a few options in the game where you have that extra burst of move speed to close the gap on somebody to get the Omni Slash off actually is really nice, because you're like, I'm going to dictate the pace of this game. I'm going to farm this specific part of the map. By having Drums, I've lowered the radius, or I've increased the radius at which I threaten people. Like, they can't...
Yeah.
If I don't have Drums, that radius is like, 700 maybe. If I have Drums, they can just come in vision and I sprint at them,
Yeah, totally.
That's what I mean.
Like tempo setting heroes, and I'm not controlling tempo enough.
Yeah, that's exactly your problem right now. And so obviously, what's going to happen is you're going to try to do this. What do you think?
I'm gonna overdo it.
You're going to overdo it, and you're going to fucking feed randomly. I was actually going to say, what do you think's going to be like the first, first occurrence?
Divine, bro. No.
So yeah, you're going to hit divine. No, you're actually. I wouldn't be surprised, to be frank with you. It can depend, but I wouldn't be surprised if in like the immediate short term you lose him more, because you're just gonna like try to be aggressive and randomly feed. But that's like
I'm just gonna start TPing bottom opposite safe lane at 10 minutes for like 10 games.
That's what you should do, because there are some games, okay, where the correct way to apply your strength is to be in your own safe lane. Okay, so like. Remember, though, if your job is to apply pressure, it's their safe lane. If your job is to create pressure, to relieve pressure, it's your own safe lane. So, like, there's games where, like, if you have a mid DK and you're a Jug and you're unkillable in your own safe lane, it's actually better to stay there as long as you are unkillable, because it enables your DK to just run around doing whatever he wants. If you think, you see what I'm saying? Like, what you're, like, okay, earlier when I was flaming people for letting somebody solo defend their own safe lane, it enables the rest of the map so much. So the point is, if no other heroes on your team actually create pressure, you're not enabling shit by staying in your own safe lane. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not enabling them to create any pressure because you're just sitting in your own safe lane and nobody's doing anything. But if you're the hero...
happened in that LC game, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, the important aspect is to understand, off lane is where you create pressure. Safe lane is where you relieve it. Where do you fit in that equation? You'd be better off TPing to their off lane almost every game if you're the guy that's a Jug. But, like, if you understand it at more than just that simple... Sorry, I'm in my throat. If you understand it more than, like, that simple level, that's, like, the next step is, like, it's whether you're applying or relieving the pressure on the map. So, like, in this game, nobody else on your team really forces objectives. So you should be walking down lanes and forcing them, especially when Doom has no...
Yeah, it's on the CD.
When he had no Doom earlier. And also, like, when you killed Doom and you, like, let the Pudge defend, that's, like, a minor, big example of, like, sometimes that pressure can be applied here. The only difference between this tower and this one is it's just more difficult to take. It's, like, there's a lot of reasons behind it, but just know it's more difficult to take this one. And
yeah, I heard someone say that, and I assume it's just because the shrine is there.
it's, like, the shrine, and generally it's much more, like, difficult for your team to get here than it is for theirs. Like, it's basically
like,
this
better rotation.
Yeah, it's just smoother for the enemy team. If they kill you there, it's like really natural transition into a tower. But if they kill you here, like usually it's really hard for them to get to this tower. Like there's just like there's just a lot of like dynamics to like why it's harder to take this tower. So like the reason why you generally don't go for this tower is because you're not strong enough. But there are games like that game I told you the guy was level 10 and the Tide was level 5. This tower should fucking die at like 8 minutes into the game, right? Like it should die.
Right.
It's really important if you have that big of an advantage. If people are feeding you that big of an advantage, that you do take that tower. Like if you're a PL with level 6 at the 5-minute catapult and you're ahead and the guy's level 4, his tower should die because you spam illusions onto his tower and your creeps never have to tank anything. So his tower should die with that 5-minute catapult as PL. There's a lot of games as PL where you're not going to get that tower at 5 minutes because you're a PL, but like if you have that level 6 and you're at the lane advantage, that tower should die every single time you're a PL with level 6 during the catapult wave. Like that should happen. So it's just like one of those things where, like I said, and you already repeated, draw that line and go from there. You know what I mean? Figure out what that line is, and if you're the Jug, you should show up in there safely. Like in your bracket, even if somebody on your team's supposed to be pressuring, they're probably not. So even if you have a hero that should be pressuring, like a DK, it's probably still in your best interest to just go to the opponent's safe lane if you're strong enough. And if you think you're only strong enough with teammates, try to demand them to be there.
Yeah, that was what I was about to say. I was like, I think that takes some.
Well, sometimes, like, that's what I love about Jug, though, is if he gets ahead, he's generally independent enough to apply pressure on his own. That's why I like Jug.
Yeah.
And Terrorblade and these, like, PL-type heroes are heroes that you go to this side of the map, and that doesn't mean you just have to walk and push the tower. You're now a threat on that tower. So then you have to assess, like, it's not enough to just know, I need to go here. Because sometimes the correct approach is you're supposed to go here, and then just chill until they leave, and then you take the tower the second they leave. That's kind of what Terrorblade does. He's like a looming threat on the tower rather than I walk up to the tower and kill it. I'm like every time they leave to go do something else, I'm threatening this tower. So like it's blocking the opponent from actually doing stuff. Do you see how that would work?
Yeah, I kind of like see like this like flaw, I guess, too, where it's I played like a lot of Warcraft 3 competitively.
Okay.
And there's like this aspect of no downtime.
Okay.
And in my mind, it's go hit creeps, right? Go scout, right? And I think I'm just falling back to go hit creeps, and I just need to fucking know that, be more objective oriented, essentially.
And I'd rather you try to take objectives and feed in the short term. That's basically the process that I had to do. I'm very similar to you in what I had to do. I watched Ramses to learn this kind of stuff, was the primary carry that I really saw.
Ramses.
Like he just like pushes his limits on like Morphling and type heroes. Like Arteezy does it too. Like I've learned some stuff like this from Arteezy, but I think Ramses is one of the most aggressive carries in all of Dota. So like I watched him a lot to help me with my own like aggression. And so like my best thing is make an educated guess on whether or not you can take objective. Like identify the objective, make an educated guess on whether or not you're strong enough to take it, and then if you're not sure, try. And then if you feed, you'll learn why you weren't supposed to take it. And sometimes
I'm ready to lose 200 MMR.
Well, I'm saying sometimes like that feed can be because there was literally no way you could have played it differently. So you should just not do it. And then other times it should be where you could have played it better and you just overextended. Like instead of trying to take the tower, you actually dove them and then you died underneath their tower. Because like heroes like Terrorblade and PL, they like protect themselves by spacing with illusions, and like their way of surviving is actually just walking away. So by diving tower on those type of heroes, you're often much more vulnerable to dying than if you weren't to dive tower, because their way of protecting themselves is to like zone you away with illusions, right? So if they suddenly put themselves in front of your face, like they're much more killable. So we've seen this enough. You're already responding to your safe lane again. Their tier 1 still alive when you were pretty much free farming on Jug against these heroes. So like same story, right? Okay. Any last questions before we wrap it up, man?
No, I think we drilled it down. That's the biggest leak. So.
Right on. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a reoccurring theme. So I'm just going to label this session as Jug properly applying pressure.
Cool. All right, man. Really appreciate your time, and thanks. Definitely learned something. So
yeah, right on, man. I hope it applies into something for you later. So
all right.
have a good one, man.